Hi everyone, this is Margarita with City God Papeterie. As promised, I wanted to do the second Valentine video, which is 3 feminine cards and 3 masculine cards that are Valentine Day themed. And I'm going to start off with the 3 feminine cards. They're fairly simple. I tried to prepare here a little bit. I just grabbed a pre-cut and scored card base. I really did that for everything. I just went in my stash and grabbed a bunch of card bases that I had. They're all random. They're different sizes. And the first one here is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. If you wanted to create this on your own, you would want to have a sheet of paper cut down to 4 1/4 by 9 1/2, and that, you know, folded in half should give you this size. I also took some pattern paper and I cut down a piece to 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and then I cut down another coordinated piece to 2 inches by 3 inches, and one more at should be 1 1/4 here. So 1 1/4 by 2. Okay, and those are going to be I'm going to cut them into fishtail banners. So this card is going to come together super quick and simple. I'm going to grab a tape gun here, and I am just going to put these pieces down. A pair of scissors, and I'm going to be cutting this down the middle, and it's probably about a 1/2 inch up. It is double-sided, but I like this side, so I'm going to use that for the larger one. It's the same piece of paper that I'm using. I'm going to cut from my corner to that middle slit that I just made, and that's going to make my banner. So I have this little tiny leftover scrap piece of tulle, and I am just going to use this instead of ribbon or twine, and I'm going to put it right around this smaller tag. Okay, so I went ahead, I did tie that little piece of tulle there, and I'm going to now adhere this down. I'm going to actually just kind of fold these up a little bit, or like round them a little bit, just so it gives it a little bit of flair and dimension. I'm putting these on the left side, but they might also work on the right, and they could probably also work in this direction. I'm, you know, solely creating this video for ideas, so that you guys can have some ideas on both feminine and masculine Valentine cards. For this one, because I have the tulle here, I'm going to elevate it up on some foam. For this, I like to use double-sided tape because it adheres it better. Now, to finish off the card, I'm going to be using these letter stickers. I'm going to be using one hand for this because I've got little somebody in the other arm. He's teething and very clingy, so I'm going to try to make this work here. And so that completes that first card. Oops, little foot in the in the frame. Yeah, and so if you have any kind of sentiment stamps, or if you've recycled past cards, you can use a sentiment on the inside of your choice, of course, or you can just, you know, write whatever your message is on the inside without having to stamp a sentiment on it. That's usually my preference. I like to just, you know, write a nice message on the inside, so I don't usually stamp anything on the inside of my cards. And I'm just kind of curling the bottom there to give it that little extra dimension. And I think this is a really cute, simple card. I think it works well for a young girl, maybe a teenager. My letters are falling off here. a teenager, sister, daughter, something like that, or even a friend. And again, it came together very quickly and simply. And that's the first card. These are the supplies for my second card. I'm using this arrow die cut that I put foil on using my Mink, and then some scraps that were left over from the last card. Another scrap that I found on my desk from the last project that I made. Another scrap that I'm gonna be cutting into a heart, and a die cut that was already on my table. So keeping it simple again. This is just a 6x6 piece of paper that I grabbed. And then I have this stamp set. I think I ordered this from AliExpress, I think. So I don't know, it doesn't have a brand. I don't know what it's from, but I am gonna use this part, just the "You Are Loved," and I'm gonna stamp that onto this tag. And this is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and if you were cutting this out, you would need 10 1/2 by 5 1/2 piece of paper scored down the center. I'm going to cut my mat down to 5 by 5. These I saved because of course I could use them on another card or a different project. Now I want the wood grain to be vertical, so I'm just going to make sure that I put it on that way. I'm just going to center that as well, put that right on. And then for these, I am going to just adhere these onto there. And I don't want them to be straight, I want them to be a little bit crooked. My piece of doily, which I just broke. Let's see if that's all I need. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, that still works. And that'll go right there. And then let me just measure this out. So I might need to trim this one strip because it looks like it might be too long. I am going to cut some of this off also, so it doesn't show on the other side. Let me stamp this on so that I know how much I need to put underneath the strips. I'm going to use this Kaiser Craft Lagoon stamp pad. Alright, now that's pretty light. I might line this with like a marker or something, but for now I'm going to leave it like that. I think I might prop that up on some foam also. And now I'm just going to put that right onto the left hand side of the card as well. Okay, and now I'm going to take this piece that I just drew a heart on the back, and I'm going to cut that out. I don't think that stands out as much as I wanted it to. I grabbed my ink pad and blended along the edges of the heart. Okay, now I do like that. The shading along the edges did add some dimension and it made it a little more contrasted against the background. And then I'm just going to put this little arrow here as well. Oh, it's kind of long. Maybe I could shorten it. Let's perform some surgery here. I hope that's enough. I'm going to go with that. And I'm just going to use some glue for this. And now I'm going to glue down my heart. Card number 2. I'm probably going to get grab a jelly pen that whatever closely matches this, and then just outline the letters. I'll do that right now. So I'm just going to add a little bit of dotting around the letters. So that pretty much completes this card. And as you can see, these come together very quickly and very easily. You don't need to buy any special supplies. Just use what you have on hand. That's always my recommendation. It doesn't have to be traditional colors either. None of this is red. This is actually just pink and green. So, you know, it's just a matter of being creative, using what you have. That's always, I find, the best route when it comes to creating. Is I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of new stuff when I have things that I can use. For the heart, I simply drew a heart and then cut it out. I didn't use any die cuts, a punch, or anything special. I just used a pen and my scissors. And for my third feminine card, I again went through my stash, just grabbed a few things that I found, mostly scraps. And that's what I'm going to use to create this last card. The only difference with this one is it has this little tassel. I got this from Stampin' Up, but you could create this, I think, fairly easily. There are some tutorials that you can look at to create something similar, or you can, you know, use something like just a bow, you know, using twine. It doesn't have to be a tassel. And this is an A2 size card, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, I'm just using scraps to create this card. This is the same paper I used on my first card. I'm just gonna use the darker pink side, and then I have this left over from my last project. As you can see, it's definitely a scrap, and I'm gonna tuck that underneath. I did cut one of the sides with edging scissors, with a scallop edging scissors. And then this is another piece of scrap, and again, it's just the same paper on the opposite pattern, on the opposite side. And I took a corner rounder and I just rounded 2 of the corners, just the bottom. So I'm gonna be lining that up there. And then I also have a shiny metallic pink heart, and this was in my stash. Again, you could trace and cut out a heart, or use a heart punch, or anything that you have on hand. This and also came from my stash. I thought I would probably use it and just write like you and me using these letter stickers. So I'm actually not sure how I'm gonna get this on there, but I know I want it here somewhere. So I figured I would just take care of that while I was recording. And to start off, I am going to adhere these 2 together. I think I can go ahead and adhere that down. I am going to prop this one up. Okay. And now I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to tie this to this. I'm going to use my crocodile, and on the using the smaller hole, I'm going to line that up in the center towards the bottom of the heart. See that? I'm going to bring in some ribbon that I literally just had on my table, and I'm just going to grab it and use it. Alright, so I kind of like that. I think that works just fine. And I'm going to use some adhesive tape here. Now I will center that there to the top. And now I'm going to trim the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and work on my wording now. Here's my lettering. It says me. I'm going to put the and here in the middle. So it says me and you. You could also put you and me. I just went with this right where the 2 pattern papers meet. And of course you could use Happy Valentine's Day. I didn't use any traditional type of Valentine sentiment, but I don't think that's, well, I don't personally don't feel that that's necessary for Valentine's Day. It's really just about, you know, sharing your love or expressing your love, and so I don't think it's necessary to have something very specific that says Happy Valentine's Day. And this can even double up as, you know, an anniversary card or a just because or anything that you want, really. That completes the 3 feminine cards. These would work well as a gift for anyone who would appreciate a little femininity in their Valentine card, or really any card. I think that these would work for many different occasions and not just Valentine's Day. And now we're going to move on to the masculine cards. For the masculine cards, this is what I have so far, what I'm thinking. And I'm going to get started with the first one, which is this one. And again, I'm going for super simple. This is just a piece of pattern paper. I think stripes work very well for masculine cards. I think that these types of neutral colors go well. And then I have this piece of scrap with lettering on it, and it's just another piece of pattern strip paper that I'm gonna use just to embellish that right on this side. And then I'm gonna just grab some letter stickers and just use this love to put over that. Now I don't have, or at least I'm trying not to use anything that says Happy Valentine's Day, mostly because I don't really have anything that says Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm definitely not going to be going out to buy anything that says Happy Valentine's Day, and also because I think that you could use other things to express your love that doesn't say that for that same occasion. For my own cards, I usually tend to just write that on the inside as part of my sentiment, and so I don't really feel the need to have like a separate stamp. I have stamps that say Happy Valentine's Day, but I don't feel like that is necessary to create a Valentine's Day card. It's an A2 size card, and my mat is I think this is an 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. I'm gonna let the strip start on the edge of the card and end at the end of the card, so I'm going to cut it off down there. Okay, there's that. I'll grab my scissors. And I'm just going to put those right in there. I'll probably draw a little heart on them. Okay, so there's that one, and then I'm going to grab my letter stickers. These are from Momenta. They're from Hobby Lobby. I think I got these while I was visiting another state. We don't have Hobby Lobby in New York, or at least not anywhere that I know of. Nowhere close to me. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that, and I will use some glue for this. I'm actually going to use the little piece that's left over and put that on the inside with the other 2 little pieces of paper that were left. And that completes that card. Super simple, super quick. And again, you know, doesn't need to be anything grand. And I think this works great as a masculine card. I think it's a nice neutral, and it could go either way. You could give this to a male, female, or anyone who would appreciate a masculine card or neutral card. Now moving on to the next card, I have the same type of card base, and again, these are pre-made, pre-cut, and folded, or pre-cut and scored cards that I had in my stash. I also had this piece of corrugated cardboard that I'm going to be using as my mat. It gives it a sort of tone-on-tone look that I like, and it adds a lot of nice texture, which I also love. And then I found this piece of scrap that I kind of want to make a faux envelope with. I don't know if I can do that, but I'm gonna try that. That's what I'm gonna be doing with this. So it looks like there's a little love note on the front of the card. And I think that to do that, I'm going to fold these 2 sides over just a little bit. I'm wondering, let me see, I'm not even going to use a scoreboard. I'm just going to use this, and I'm going in, I guess it looks about like 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to mark that right there. It's not perfect, and that's just fine. I'm okay with a whimsical looking envelope. And here we go again. Okay. And now I am going to, or maybe I should do the bottom also. Let's do the bottom also. Okay, I'm going to cut the corners in at an angle just a little bit, just so that you don't see them on the front. And so I have this handmade paper. I don't want the leaves. I want to use, yeah, I want the color and the texture, but I don't want the leaves. So I am gonna mark here. Let's see, I'm gonna be cutting it this way. So how far down do I want that? Let's see. Let me just cut a piece off, and then I'm gonna try to create the top fold of the envelope, and I'm gonna try to leave out the pieces of gold. I think that if I cut this at a right angle and then use the corner punch to round the corner, I should be good. So let's find the center. Let's fold that in half, and then I'm just gonna pinch right there, and I'm just gonna cut from here to there and from here to there. Okay, so what I do for this is, just to make sure I get a straight cut, is that I line up my corner with the blade there, and then once that's lined up, I also line up the folded part at the bottom with the blade, and so this way I can get a nice straight cut. And I'll do that again here. So I'm measuring here, my corner is right on the cut on the blade that's going to cut, and then my other corner there. And so this is definitely not a right angle, but it'll still work, and I'm going to round that. See? That works. I'm not concerned about the top because I think I'm going to try to fold that over just a tiny bit. Alright, so this is the top flap. Now I kind of feel like I lose it in the background because the colors are so similar. So I grabbed this Distress Ink Walnut Stain, and I'm gonna just get my edges on there. Awesome. Okay. So that would be my envelope now. And I'm gonna adhere that down with some double-sided tape. I'm just gonna actually use the stain on the rest of the envelope. And so I have this one that says love. Let me actually cut down and glue my mat, my corrugated cardboard. And since my card is A2 size, I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. Nope, that was totally wrong. That's okay. I did it before I thought thoroughly about it. But that is okay. We make mistakes in crafting and we just run with it. Actually, this gives me the idea of putting some washi tape underneath the top and bottom now. I like that. I think it still looks masculine, and I think it was a happy mistake. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this down. Now I'm going to tape down my envelope. And then, let's see. It's a gold envelope. I mean a gold heart. Or this one. I like that one. I'll go with that one. Okay, so let's put that right there. And I like that. I'm wondering if I should put some lettering on this. I have this, these are rub-on letters. Maybe the little XOXO on the heart. These are pretty old. I don't even know if they're gonna work still. They're by Making Memories, who I believe is no longer in business. Okay, let's see. It fits perfectly on there. Now let's see if it'll also, I got it on. I thought it was gonna get messed up for a second there, but it is on, and I like that. So this is our second card completed. So for my third card, I'm keeping up with the same texture theme. This is another pre-fold and cut piece of cardstock, an A2 size card, and it's textured. Don't know if you can see that, but it is textured. And I found this piece of, I don't know what this is called, but it's like a fiber paper. It's got a bunch of fibers. It might be handmade. I inherited this with like a big bag of a bunch of scraps, and it almost is already shaped like a heart. So I'm gonna continue to tear it so that I can get an actual full shape of a heart. Now some of these fibers might be hard to cut by hand. All right, so I might have to cut this side down now a little bit. All right, so there is my heart, and then I found this in my stash also. I'm gonna give it a torn look. So I actually have old paper, distress ink. So I'm going to use that. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. And then I have this, I think this is my last piece of this navy blue corrugated cardboard. And I'm going to be cutting a heart shape out of that. I couldn't find my heart punch, so I'm going to use this heart to trace it and then cut it out. Tie a ribbon around this. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna start gluing this down, or taping it down rather. Now this is very textured and it has a lot of fibers, so I want to use a good amount of adhesive to make sure that it's going to stay on my paper. And of course I wouldn't expect anyone to have this type of thing on hand, but you can also use just regular paper and, you know, crumple it up and then tear it to a heart shape to get a similar look. I'm going to center that there, and I really like that. And then we're going to adhere this onto that. I'm going to use a piece of foam to add a little more dimension. Now I'm working on this in one day, so that because it's obviously going to be posted pretty close to Valentine's Day, but you still have some ideas for something that you can make fairly quickly. I think this isn't taking me too long. I know my last video was quite long, but this one I shouldn't take as long as the other one did. So I'm going to wrap this around this way. I'm going to twist it almost like if it were a gift. That's how I'm going to wrap this. and then I'll come back and tie it in the center of the heart. To help me keep this in place, because it's kind of going everywhere, I'm going to use some tweezers. And I'm going to tie my bow. There. And I'm going to put that on top of my other heart. So here are our 6 cards. These are the 3 feminine cards. Here are the 3 masculine cards. I think that these were came together very quickly, very easily. I think these are great card ideas for anyone who is a beginner or any experience really for cards. I think this is also a great way to use what is in your stash, what you already have on hand, so that you don't have to go out and purchase anything or spend any money. Just use what you already have. I hope these gave you some ideas, and I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.